Okay. Hello, everybody. Good morning. I'm covering some interesting things I found on Hyliion's Q3 2025 10Q. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, as of September 30th, 2025, the Karno power module has not yet been commercialized. Costs incurred for components acquired prior to our determination of reaching a commercial stage are expensed as R&D costs, resulting in zero cost basis for those components. So what they are saying here is that they're accounting for the expense of the Karno parts in R&D. They're accounting for the expense of the Karno parts in R&D, effectively making them cost $0 from the balance sheet perspective. So what this means is next year, when they're selling the 200 kW, the numbers are going to look really fucking good. Why? Because they don't have to account for these parts. They're building the Karno. They're building Karnos for free, somewhat, with the parts that are prepaid, that are listed on the balance sheet in 2025. So the gross profit margin is going to be, it's going to fucking explode, because the cost of goods sold is going to drop substantially than what it should normally be. So next year, commercialization can actually look really, really good. And the margin should look phenomenal. So just looking at the military contracts. Sorry, I have one more thing I'd like to speak about on this. So this makes me very bullish on the fact that we can get some, possibly an insane pump, because anyone who looks at the balance sheet after they start the commercialization process, they won't look at this information. They won't see this. And we'll expect that there could be a hype situation and even potentially FOMO. And we'll end up profiting off of that. You know, once it gets to a ridiculous cost, you know, we can sell a few off the top. We can sell some calls, something like that. You know, we'll see when we get there, when we determine, you know, that we might be getting a little too frothy. All right, 3. So for the military contracts, the remaining amount of revenue that we may recognize under these contracts is up to $14.4 million as of September 30th, 2025, which is expected to primarily be recognized in 2025 and 2026. Now, they already guided that the rest of 2025 is not going to have high revenue. So we can assume that the majority of that 14.4 million will likely still be recognized in 2026. The next part, the company will provide R&D services through September 2026, including delivery of up to 7 Karno cores. This is, again, to the military. So we can somewhat assume that they should be supplying 7 Karno cores next year at a minimum, ideally. And finally, the company will provide R&D services through July 2026, with an option to extend that through July of 2027. I don't know if there is additional earnings potential if it does get extended, but that is something to keep in mind, that the R&D services that they provide to the military currently could be a factor in 2027 as well. So let me just go over some notes here. So as you can see, the company has stated that they can get an additional $14.4 million out of the government contract that ends in September of 2026. They also have the option to extend the R&D contract out to 2027 if needed. So the way I see this is they're going to try and recognize as much of that $14 million as they possibly can next year. This obviously does not include funds coming from distribution to any other customers. I think they should be conservative and guide for like ideally 12 million revenue next year. I think that would be a fair conservative guide based off of this specifically. Assuming that they have to provide those 7 Karnos and they have to push to get that 14 million from R&D services and whatnot, because they want it. Of course they want it. So I would like to see them guide for like 10 to 12 million. But 10, 12 million and then blow it out of the park. You know, if they can guide for 10 million, 12 million, and then blow it away, put, 16 million, 18 million, that would be insane. But knowing how this management team is, they'll probably guide for like 20 to 25 and then miss their mark, because they've done that a couple of times. So we already know most of the basics look less than appealing for the balance sheet, but as investors we are also looking for what the future potential of what Hyliion is capable of. So the $44 million net loss the company had for the quarter is primarily driven by high operating expenses, including SG&A and significant research and development spending. The core reason for the exaggerated loss is the required accounting treatment for the Karno inventory. Currently, they expense the components for products that are still in R&D immediately on the income statement as an R&D cost, rather than being capitalized as an asset or inventory and put on the balance sheet. This front loads the cost, giving the components a $0 cost basis in inventory. When commercial sales begin in 2026, the future cost of goods sold will be based on this $0 cost for the initial inventory batch. This accounting effect will temporarily result in a much higher gross profit margin, boosting net income and improving shareholder equity. So essentially, the company is taking the financial hit now when they're not profitable and not making any money, really, which will make future profitability look significantly better, which means 2026 and potentially 2027, but I doubt 2027, could both look really good. So let me break it down just a little bit more. If they made 100 parts this year and they eat the cost of that through R&D, then the cost next year for those parts in inventory is $0. So if they make 100 more next year and the cost to them is $100 per part, just for simple math, then their trailing cost of goods sold should average around $50 per unit. So, if they have 100 parts in inventory, the first however many Karnos are going to have a very, very low cost of goods sold, because it's already been expensed on the balance sheet in 2025. Now, when 2026 rolls around, It's not free money, but it's close to it. People aren't going to see this, and they're not going to understand this. So I just wanted to go over a few other things. Employment data was released today, Thursday the 20th. Unemployment is up to 4.4%. This is a good indicator for potential rate cut in December. But jobs growth due to seasonal hiring beat the estimated 50,000 jobs and instead posted 119,000 jobs. In addition to that, wage growth improved by 3.8%. So this tells us that the Fed may actually be less likely to cut if they see this as strength within the market. And finally, just to sum it up, I am a member of the Al Stock Trades platform. This is a platform of highly intelligent, data-driven individuals who are taking advantage of the platform's stance on democratization of financial data and financial literacy. So if you think that you would fit into this group, I'll drop a link down below and you can take a look for yourself. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe if you enjoy this content, and thank you very much.